Okay, so last session we learned about how do we work with these form options, right? Form classes. So we learned about how to deal with forms, bootstrap form related classes. Next, important after the forms, we have a bootstrap input group. Bootstrap input group. Input group also earlier in old versions we have so many classes, but now only few options are there. Only two options. We have two classes. We have input group and input group text. That's it. Earlier we used to have additionally like input group append and input group prepend. These two are from the version, they are from the version 4 up to 4.0. So in Bootstrap 5, removed from Bootstrap 5. So these are removed from Bootstrap 5. These two classes are not there. So as I already told you, when you are watching online websites tutorials, so some examples may show you input group append, input group prepend. That means it is not the latest version. So some old version Bootstrap tutorial you are watching. So now in the new version, you have only two options. One is input group, another one is input group text. Let's see how we can design, how we can use it. So I will add a new page, input group .html. I will copy all the code here. All files are same. So this I will clean up. Okay. Now, how do we design input groups? Suppose some Amazon search bar. So here how we can add is we have a div. In the div, we have input type is equal to text. And we have a select. It is having option like all. So some option like mobiles, something. So another, after that we have a button and span class BI and BI search. That is the class. Usually this looks like this. So we have designed something like this. Now the appearance, how we can define. This is actually, now suppose I'm giving for text box. For text box, I'm giving as class form control. And for button, I'm giving the class as BTN and BTN warning. And you can see the appearance will be in this way. So we have a text box and we have search button and we have drop down. Now what we have to do, all these are kept in a div. So to keep side by side, we learned about an option called display inline. We can use display flex. But now simple, we have to apply the class input group. Input group. Input group size is there. So if you want large size, you can give the size as LG. LG for large. We have input group and optionally we can give input group LG. So that is large size if you want. Normally it is input group. We are using just input group. And once I give input group, you can see all these are arranged side by side. That means this is text box and this is the button and this is the drop down. And you can see all looks like attached to each other. They are attached to each other. They are not separated. So here one more option is, if you want any text appearance, for example, for this select, I am giving class as input group text. Input group text. If I give input group text, then automatically it will be displayed in this way. That means it will have a background gray color. That is for text, displaying text. You can see the appearance will be in this way. So that means it's a simple Amazon search bar that you generally see in Amazon. Amazon.in. So you generally see that search bar same. So the same, so we have designed here. So width, height, depending on your requirement, how much you want to configure. This is a simple input group. Input group is used for various purpose. For example, suppose we are displaying some content. So another option I will give. Generally we call as input group append. Append means towards the right side, if you are attaching, then we called append. Towards the left side, then we call prepend. Generally, suppose we have a div and input type is equal to text, class, form control, and here beside it, we are displaying some span. In that span, I defined as suppose gmail.com. The span I have defined. Usually it will look like this. This is the text box and this is the span. Now what we are doing here is we are giving the class input group. And here, this is input group text, gmail.com. Then we can define as class input group text. Then automatically it will display in this way. So that means we have a text box and this is attached to it. Suppose I am writing like @gmail.com. Then it will display in this way. This is appending the text. We can prepend the text before. We can have both. That means append and prepend. For example, append and prepend. We can have both direction. For example, I have a span. I said ampersand #8377 semicolon. And we have a text box, input type text, class as form control. And here we have another span. This is 0.00 like this. And the class input group text. This also class input group text. Input group text before and after the text box. And this will be displayed as input group. You can define input group and you can see it will be in this way. That means in the beginning, the rupee symbol and the text and this symbol. Usually this type of appearance is very common in the websites. So this is the append and prepend. We can have only prepend. We can have only append, we can have append prepend, or we can have multiple also. Now you can add anything. That means side by side you can define like this. For example, I am giving another heading. Suppose center. And here I'm giving a div. So we have input type is equal to text. Class is equal to form control. And here we have a span. So I defined at the net. Class is equal to input group text. Input group text. And after that, again text box. Input type is equal to text. And the class form control. Okay. And you can see this is defined with the class input group. Input group. So that is input group. And it will display in this way. That means you have in the middle. That means you can combine left side, you can combine right side, or you can combine end, you can combine left only, depending on your requirement. That means many times people ask like, can we put center? Can we put right? Can we put left? You can put anywhere. Just you have to place your content correctly. So it can be merging in the center. It can be merging in the left. You can configure anywhere. That's what generally yesterday we designed some form. For example, see, this is example. Yesterday we designed a form. Now, for example, in this form, for username, passwords, what we do is usually, let's go here. This is the username. This is the username text. Here I will put a span and the class BI. So BI person. I given as BI person. And that is BI person. And here I am just defining these two as class input group. And this will have, so one more class, input group text. Now usually it will contain like this. That means that username. So many icons are there. I used one icon, you can put anything. Suppose I want right side something to merge. So span class is BI. So suppose we have an option like correct or say tick. Yeah. So we have like ticket or say some circle badge fill box. Yeah, check. I am giving check circle or check fill. Okay, like this. And here also input group text I am defining. Then it will display in this way. So that means actually through our JavaScript, what we do is through our JavaScript, this tick mark, cross marks, we will change. If username is valid, then we put a tick mark symbol. If invalid, we will put a cross symbol. Directly, we can change them. We are applying the classes now. These classes can be changed dynamically according to the situation. So that can be possible. So here also same. Suppose I am defining for password, I am giving input type is, here we will put a span, class as BI and BI as key fill, and input group text. So right side, so tick mark is same. I will copy the tick mark and keep it here. And we will make this as input group. And you can see it will be input group. That means for password, we have a key symbol and define. Background colors, effects, everything you can change accordingly. Already we learned. Suppose I want to change the background color. Then usually what we do, additionally we can give BG danger, BG primary, so many things we have learned. You can use any color. That doesn't matter. So colors and effects, your wish. That means you should not have doubt like how to change color of this icon those colors depend on how you define the text colors. Icon color depend on text color. Background color depends on BG color. So wherever you want, you can apply that. This is very common in forms. While working with the forms, this is very common. So how you configure the input group and define them. So you have the options syntactically like this. We have to keep a div with a class input group, and you need to define. So here we will put directly some content. Input type text class form control, and we put a span here. Some class as input group text, some gmail.com, something like this, and close the div. Example I will give you both, right? So that is input group and input group text. Earlier we used to have, if you are adding right side, then we have to use one more class called input group append. Now you don't need that. If you are adding right side, append, left side, prepend, like that we have to give extra class. Now we don't need that. Just put right side, it will append. Left side, it will prepend. So that is the new example I will give you here. Example, this example, input group. And another example, that form also I will give. Just form elements, what you have done, these two. So usually, so this is one example. And another example is form, that is this one. Okay. These two are generally input group related options, how we can define input group and specify. Now with the forms and input groups and alignments, now you can exactly design such options. For example, we see Netflix. Now we can create this page, but still one more option is pending here. To design this, we need a drop down like this, drop down like this, drop down with a symbol. We need that, but we don't have that drop down symbols. With symbol is not allowed. We have to design drop down. To design drop down, so we have to use bootstrap drop downs. We need to understand and work with bootstrap drop downs. Actually, in order to design this screen, button already there, alignments we know, how to keep in center also we know. Just now we learned about how to create input group. This is the input group. Button combined with the text box, that is an input group. We will try to design this now. But for this, so few more are there. One is we need to know bootstrap drop downs, which allows with symbols, icons, how we can manage them. Another one, at the bottom, you see this type of appearance will be there. Actually, this is more advanced effects. These are not there in bootstrap, but similar to this we can design. Why? Because this is done in a React.js technology. Netflix is entirely designed in React.js. And for React.js, they have separate material UI. Material UI. Actually, this is like for Bootstrap. This is like Bootstrap. Like Bootstrap, they have their separate UI. You see, Amazon, NASA, Netflix, these websites are designed with this material UI, right? That means even NASA website, Amazon is also designed with. So that means they provide same bootstrap like classes and effects and components, but little bit different. So that means bootstrap have limited effects. More than bootstrap, some more effects are there. So same, but this requires knowledge of React.js. Along with React.js, people learn this material UI. Actually, they have to learn both bootstrap, material UI, because some are possible with bootstrap, some are possible with this material UI. So Angular people have separate material.angular. So Angular people have material Angular. This is for Angular. That means React people have separate UI. So Angular people have separate UI. So general web development people have bootstrap. That means in general web development, we use bootstrap. People who learn React and Angular, they will learn extra these two. So with that, what they can do is they can make effects more little bit better, advanced. That means our designs will be little bit more advanced and more effective with these type of options. Same like bootstrap. People who learned bootstrap, they can easily handle this, but they need that technology background. So they need to learn the technology to implement this actually. So what we are doing here is we will try to achieve similar, but not exact, because to create exact effect, actually this is called accordion. Accordion means I click this, it will expand. And below one more topic is there. If I click on that, the previously expanded one will close. This will expand, that will close. That means only one topic will be displaying. One topic will be displaying. This is called as accordion. In Bootstrap also we have accordion, but not exactly like this. Little bit different. That means its symbols, icons, animation styles will be different, but concept will be same. That means same type of component will be there, but little bit appearance changes will be there. So we will see how we can create them. For that, we have to learn these options. So additionally, what we have to learn here. So once you know, two more things you have to learn. One is bootstrap collapse. Bootstrap collapse. Actually, collapse is very simple. For that, we have to use the class collapse. We need to use the class collapse. So we have option like collapsible. So usually this works with the combination of buttons and other common. Actually, collapse is used for showing and hiding the content. That means, so it allows to show or hide content dynamically. So it is used in various combinations actually. To show and hide the contents dynamically, we need that collapse. So how it works, let's see. So it is designed in this way. I will copy that. A simple example with the collapse, how it works. Another file collapse. Okay. And let's paste this now. Clean up. Okay. So here I will give collapse demo. Just we have a button and we have the option like preview. And here we have a div. Div have a class called collapse. And just collapse is there. And here we can define some option. Image source is images, some laptop.jpg width and height, something we define. Usually this is the appearance. So here collapse by default, it is not showing this content. Collapse, if you want to show the content, you have to use show. Show is used to display the content. That means show allows you to display the content. It is displaying now. Suppose width and height I given as 200, 200, and it is showing like this. So here we have preview. So show hide, like this button I defined, show hide. Now when I click this button, it should hide it. Again, click the button, it should display. Then what we can do is, for this, we can keep an ID as preview. Okay, on this button click, then we have to use the attributes, data, BS, toggle, right? Toggle what? Toggle what? Collapse. And data, BS, target. Which one to collapse? Hash preview. That's how we need to define. So already I told you, toggle indicates click. And which one should be affected on click? Which component? You have to give the component name. And which collapse? Because there may be several collapse. Which collapse? You have to defer the ID. Now this click and it will hide. Again click, it will display. That means we can show and hide the content. Actually, this is used with combination of so many things in future. If you are designing a navigation bar, on click, it should show items. Again click, it should hide items. Then navigation bar uses collapse. If you are using a drop down, on click, it should show items. Again click, it should hide items. That means drop down should use combination of collapse. But recently in the latest version, what they have done is they internally used that collapse. Earlier we have to manually write collapse, but now in Bootstrap 5 version onwards, internally they are using collapse. So for many options like navigation bars and drop downs, now in the latest version, you don't need to use collapse. In the old version, you will see a lot of collapse used in every component. But in the new version, internally it is designed. So you have to just apply few classes, it will work. So earlier Bootstrap and now advanced Bootstrap, lot of changes happened in these components. That is the reason when you are going to work in a company, so on an old version, majority 90%, as I told you, companies are using older version only currently. Still they are not using Bootstrap 5. So in that case, the document I will upload, after all this I will upload. 2 documents I will upload, one Bootstrap 4 version and 5. You go through that 4 version also. If you want to practice Bootstrap 4, then what you have to do is, you have to install 4 version later, not now. npm install. So you have used Bootstrap, right? Bootstrap @4. You have to type like that. Then it will get you the older version of Bootstrap. Then several new features you cannot use. Whatever new, currently don't do this, right? Leave it. At last you try. I will show you how we can get that old version. I will show you old version 1 point also, right? But remember, lot of changes happened. That is the reason people who already know Bootstrap, they may ask you about different things. Then you have to tell them that the version I am learning is not the version you know, right? So the version I am learning is advanced and what you know is old. So your options are not there here continued. Some changes happened. You have to tell them that. So the old version options uses lot of dependency on these collapse options. Collapsible will be later. So now collapsible will be used later, not now. that we use combination of navigation bars. Directly, as of now, we have to just use only collapse. That's one option. So syntactically, how we define. So we have a button, data, BS, toggle, collapse, data, BS, target, preview, like this. So the button, and just I will give some container below. Container. In the container, we will usually have a class collapse. Collapse. And it should have show if you want by default show. And you should keep ID preview and your content, whatever you want to display there. Right. So that is combination. Example, I will paste this. So that is collapse, simple example. Remember, it requires jQuery mandatory. We need jQuery mandatory to handle that. Yeah. Next, with combination of this internally collapse like options, so we have another important, that is bootstrap accordion. Bootstrap accordion. Accordion. So actually it provides vertically collapsing accordion like items, containers. Vertically collapsing accordion like containers. So bootstrap 5 internally uses collapse for accordion. Earlier we need to explicitly use it. So little bit now change. What are the classes we have? For that is we have accordion. Accordion is the class. So we have accordion item. Accordion item is the class. So accordion item, these are the two classes. These are different ways of accordions, as I already told you. Currently we are learning bootstrap like accordion. Bootstrap like accordion. As I told you, suppose you see we have like some jQuery UI. This is jQuery UI. Later you are going to see this jQuery UI also. In this jQuery UI, you see there is an option called accordion. jQuery UI is having accordion. Accordion looks like this. I click, it will display one item. It will show and hide one item. That is general. So this is jQuery accordion. jQuery accordion. As I already told you, material, React material. So this is okay, material UI. Material UI. This is material UI. Here also you will find that accordion like option. Observe. So we have docs and you have some templates, examples, components. Yeah. In the components, you see autocomplete, toggle, accordion is there. Yeah, accordion. This is accordion. This is accordion like style. This is accordion. You see, its accordion will be like this. This is what actually Netflix is using. Netflix is using, instead of up arrow, you can put plus symbol or any symbol you can configure there. That means accordion is present in every technology, but the way of displaying animations will be changing. They will not be same. They will not be same. Designing accordion also little bit changes according to the content you are using. So designing also changes in other technologies. When you are designing accordion in general bootstrap, its order must be different. If you are designing accordion in React, like, its order must be different, but concept is same. Order and placements will change a little bit. Class names also will change. We have here different classes, they're different classes. Let's see, for example, I will add another one. Let's copy this. Okay, accordion.html, and this is accordion. I will remove this. Yeah, I will keep some accordion. Now, how do we design? We are creating a container. This is the container. So here, remember, so many classes are there. So we have accordion item. We have like accordion header. So we have like accordion body. So we have like accordion button. Depending on the requirement, we use various options depending on the requirement. So usually how we define this, see, means how we configure the accordion. So first div, this will have a class called accordion. We have accordion. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, after defining accordion, inside this, we will usually have an accordion item. We have accordion item. So accordion, inside that accordion item, how many items you want, you have to define that by using the class accordion item. So class accordion item. Suppose I want 2 items, I defined. Better take 3 so that you can see some difference clearly. So this is class accordion item. 3 items are there. Now here, inside every item, I am designing a div. So here we are defining accordion header. We can have accordion header. At the top, every item should have a header. In the header, I am adding heading like CSS tutorial. So something like this. That is the accordion header. Under the accordion header, we usually have another class. So this is like accordion body. We have accordion body. So we have accordion header and accordion body. Now what should happen is, in the body we keep some content. So I will put a paragraph, say something about CSS. Put some paragraph information. As of now, I just given a simple paragraph. The same thing. So the header and body should be in every item. Here I will define HTML tutorial and something about HTML. Okay. And similarly, here we have accordion item. So this is some JavaScript. And we have something about JavaScript. Okay. Now earlier, in old version, what you have to do is, this item should collapse. Then we used to use collapse. That means we need to put a div. Inside the div, collapse class. Inside the collapse class, this item. So that item can collapse and display. So that means depending on requirement. So it can collapse and display. So now in the new version, they introduced a class. So the class is accordion collapse. That is the new class. By using that new class, we can handle accordions. Showing and hiding the contents in the accordion, we can do that. So that means here, note the class accordion collapse. So defines collapse behavior for accordion items. In Bootstrap 4, we have to define it explicitly by using collapse component. Here, the point is you have to define collapse class for accordion body. You have to define for accordion body, right? So here one more important attribute is required. jQuery attribute. We have database parent. Database parent. It specifies the parent accordion ID, and it is defined for accordion body. We need a combination, right? Means using combination is very important, and it is little bit different from others. Means previous version, a lot of changes have happened here. See, actually, first point, these are all accordion items. In accordion, we are according items. Accordion will have an ID, topics. Topics is the ID. Now, header must be displayed. User must click on the header. Then this body should collapse. That means the body is the content which you want to show and hide. Then this body should use the classes accordion collapse. And we have to attach collapse. Accordion collapse, that means it will work for accordion. Then how it will show and hide? To show and hide, again you need a class called collapse. That means this collapse works for this accordion. Combination is very important. And by default it should display. Then we will use show. Show means by default it will be displayed. And this should work for, this body should have an ID. So I will put an ID as CSS, because every collapse should have an ID. And this should work for the parent topics. That means every collapsing body should be attached by using database parent. So what is the parent? Parent is what? Topics. It should work for topics. This we have to define. And very important, initially you see this is like this. That means all are displayed by default, because we are not attaching any collapse option for others. So here still the effects are not there. Why? Because so much other work is there here. Now what should happen here? This is a header, accordion header, and this must be clickable. If that must be clickable, then we have to put that header in a button. So, and this button will have a class. So what is the class? The class is accordion button. We have accordion button class. Accordion button class will give like this now. You see an up arrow will come and the content are displayed. the content are displayed. All must be similar. That means now what we have to do. So the HTML tutorial, okay, we have to keep like a button, and here we need to define the class. What is the class? Accordion button. Okay, now similarly, JavaScript tutorial, it should be kept in a button. And what is the class? Accordion button. That means all accordion buttons will be like this. Accordion buttons will be like this. And see now, same as we designed for the first one. So here, the body. So what are the classes required for this body? So another one is accordion collapse. Another option is collapse. And it should be having an ID. This is what? HTML. And it should work for database parent. It should work for what? Topics. Now that is defined like this, and it should work for, it is hidden now because it will be displayed. It will be displayed only when it is defined with show. Only first one I am using show, others I am defining hidden, right? Same I need to define for the second. Here also same. What is that? We have to use accordion collapse. We have to use collapse. ID is what? This is JS. And database parent, it should work for topics. That's how we need to configure. Now, just for our clarity's sake, I will do one thing. I will put some lengthy paragraph inside it. So I will copy some paragraph and put that here, so that if more content is there, you can handle easily. I will put that inside the paragraph, some sentence. Okay, some sentence is there. Now you can see this is the content. What should happen here is on this button click, this should collapse. You know how to do that now. So already you know that what we have to do for this button, we have to add option. What is it? Data BS toggle, na? Data BS toggle, collapse to toggle, because collapse should work, because body is collapse. So collapse. Okay, which collapse? We have to use option, another one. What is it? Data BS target. Target is equal to hash CSS. It should work for CSS. So that means it should work for that CSS. It is hiding and displaying. It is hiding and displaying the content. Now you need to do for others also, right? Now let's go. And this is another button. So here, data BS toggle. What? Collapse. And data BS target hash HTML. Okay. One more button is there. Data BS toggle. What? Collapse. And the data BS target. Target is hash JS. Now this is accordion. I click on HTML. Then HTML will display, CSS will hide. I click on JavaScript. It will display and other will hide. That means we can define the showing and hiding of the content and displaying it. So here, actually, lot of other modifications we can do. For example, sometimes people don't want like up arrow, down arrow, like appearance. They don't want like that. Then what they do is, they, instead of doing this, for this button, actually we are giving accordion header and accordion button. Suppose we have like BTN and BTN danger. That is the class given for that. And remove this accordion button. That means we don't want like accordion button. Then it looks like this. That looks like this. And you know another option. So W100. That means it will set the width to 100. So this is the button. This is the button. And the same we can define, suppose, so accordion, another button is there. So here I defined BTN and BTN some success. And one more button is there. Remove that accordion button and BTN some primary. And you can see, so 3 topics, 3 different symbols. And all of them we will give W100. So width will set to 100, W100, and it will display in this way. Now I click on HTML tutorial, then it will display. I click on CSS tutorial, it will display. People have an habit of using different types of combinations. That means we don't stick to only what accordion is given. So we remove that, we put different symbols, different icons we can create. But this is how accordions work. What is the speciality about accordion is, accordion will hide another when one is displayed. One is displayed, another one is hidden. Actually collapse directly, what happens is, so once you click, it will show. Again click, it will hide. The same will work for others also. All individually work, but all are together tied with one option. You see, we used an option for all the body, data BS parent. Let's remove that and see what will happen. So we used a new option called data BS parent. I will remove that data BS parent. I will remove data BS parent. So the parent is removed. Okay. I removed the data BS parent for all of them. Data BS parent here, I will remove for all of them. Now, once I remove data BS parent for all of them, you click on HTML, it will work. You click on JavaScript, it will display. All are displayed. If you want to hide CSS, click on CSS, it will hide. So that means they are not mutually collapsing. All are independent now. That means here when I click HTML, it will hide. And when I click JavaScript, it will hide. You click CSS, it will open. You click HTML, it will also open. But when I open HTML, CSS should hide. That's not happening. That means all these must be tied with one parent, accordion. That's for that, this attribute is important. This attribute is important. Data BS parent. That means, so if here important, if parent is not defined, then it will hide, it will collapse every item individually. Then it will collapse every item individually. So syntactically, how to define one small option I will give. We will have a main container class accordion. In that we have class accordion item. In that we will have class accordion header. Heading topic 1. And for this you can give actually accordion button like that. Hyphen accordion button. And below the header we have accordion body. Accordion collapse. Show. These are the important classes. ID is topic 1. database parent is parent. This is mandatory. So you can put your content. Just order I am giving, not the functionality. Just order I am defining. In which order we have to keep the contents. Right. So example for this, I will post this example. But in this, we have to add one option, right? I removed it. Then its functionality will be perfect. What is the option for every body? Data BS parent. Data BS parent topics. This we have to define for all the body. So here data BS parent topics. Yeah. So this is an example for it. How we can define the accordions. Now another important, so we need to understand bootstrap drop down. Here some important rules are there. Generally, form select defines a drop down, but will not allow icons and symbols. So defines a drop down but will not allow icons and symbols. It will not allow icons and symbols. So, but important is it is good for controlling the items dynamically. Controlling the items dynamically means like adding and removing items from list. Adding and removing items from list. For that it is good. So bootstrap drop down can display items with icons and symbols, but not good for dynamically adding and removing items. Hence use bootstrap drop down only for navigation. Don't use for controlling them dynamically. Use only for navigation. So generally already we have a drop down in the form controls. So if anybody asks which one is good, do I need to use bootstrap drop down or do I need to use form drop down? So that depends on the situation. Bootstrap drop down you use only for navigations. That means you are creating a navigation bar. You need to open that items, select an item, then it will navigate to that location. In that case, that's okay. But don't use for dynamically adding. Suppose you are showing a list of employees and that employees list will change dynamically according to the database. From database it is connected. It is showing list of employees, list of designations. Then for that, these bootstrap drop-downs are not good. Bootstrap drop-downs will not allow to add items, remove items dynamically. So for that, you have to go with general drop-down. So if bootstrap drop-down you are using, bootstrap drop-down always use for navigation. That means better always use where you have a static list. Static list means constant list. The list will not change. Then you can use that. For example, when you visit various websites, suppose some Flipkart. So when you visit these websites like Flipkart website, in this Flipkart website, you see there is a drop down called more. Under the drop down, this list will be there. And you can see that this list is permanent. Every time only these will be there. Nothing will change. That means no new option will be there. Option will not be removed. This list is permanent. Every time you see the same list. You see the same list. So this is Bootstrap dropdown. But generally, when you are using some forms, fill up of forms and displaying the items, for example, suppose you are having some forms like drop down options are available. So here, create account. So general drop downs we will see. Some categories are, yeah, you can see here left side you have these drop downs. These drop downs may change. Suppose after few days, not after few days, for another product. Suppose you are watching, this is for shoe. Suppose you are watching TV. For that, price range is not same. For TV, price range starts from 10,000. It will go up to 1 lakh. For mobile, price change start from 4,000. It will go to 20,000, like that. That means this list will be there. Price list will be there, but it is not standard list for every product. In that case, such drop downs you cannot design by using Bootstrap. This is general form. By using form, we can design the drop downs and we can configure them. So that means when you have some list of items to display, and those list of items, remember, this is also accordion only. You see, accordion means don't think that it is complete page as I showed you. In a navigation bar also they can put an accordion. In that one category you select, another category will hide. That's depending on the requirement. So the point is when to use the actual drop down of form and when to use Bootstrap drop down. If you have a standard list, then go with Bootstrap. It will not change and you are using for navigation Bootstrap. If you want the list to change dynamically according to the situation, then better go with form. For designing Bootstrap drop downs, again, so many changes happened. In older version, we need combination of collapse, but now it is simply attached with Bootstrap. So for that we have classes. We have a class called means Bootstrap classes. Classes. What are the classes we are having? One is drop down. We have drop up. Drop up. So we have like, so drop end. We have like drop start. These are different directions of drop downs actually. We have a drop down item and we have drop down text. We have like drop down link. Some general options are there. We have drop down collapse. It is used for collapsing the items. These are the options. All these items are kept in a drop down menu. So here again note, collapse is internally defined in Bootstrap 5. Collapse is internally defined in Bootstrap 5. And drop down toggle, it is used to show and hide collapse. So it is used for buttons. That means defined for drop down button. That is defined for drop down buttons. Drop down buttons. Yeah. So lot of changes are there here. Actually, So we define like this. Combinations, I will tell you first here. So I will copy this example, accordion example I given. Yeah. So let's copy this one and add drop down .html. Okay. So in this, all options are same. Yeah. Suppose we are giving drop down and we create a div. No more select here. We configure a div. So in this, we have a class called drop down. In the drop down, we design another class. We need a menu. Then we use a class called drop down menu. Drop down menu. We have a drop down menu. Inside the drop down menu, we have drop down items. So we used to use the class drop down item. That is the option. And here we will define some item. Usually drop down item, suppose I am giving the class span. And here I am defining class bi some globe like this. And here we given the text, some language like this. But this is not going to display anything. So it is not going to display anything because drop down requires a lot of combinations also now. Actually, drop down requires a button. So we can toggle the button and we can display the menu. Actually, drop down will have a button. So this is the button. So button text I defined here. Actual, suppose this item I will keep here for the button. Item is like some English. Okay. Suppose like this I define. English. So here, just an option I defined here. The button will be like this. You have a icon and a symbol like this. That is actually drop down toggle button. That means for this button, we use a class called drop down toggle. We have a drop down toggle. That is the drop down toggle button. So usually toggle button will come like this. Now you have like a drop down like appearance. Now generally what happens when I click on this, it should open the menu and display the items. For that, toggle, collapse, combinations we have to write now. Actually, this is drop down. You have options like drop up. Suppose I am using drop up, then symbol will be upside. Drop up, because sometimes menus will go down. It's not always down. Sometimes menu will come right side. Then we have to use the option like drop end. Then it will give right side like this. So it will come right side. So if you give these are having ready-made animations, whether to drop up or drop down or right, or we have like drop start. Drop start will be in this way. Left side it will come. Depending on where you are placing the content. It's not like always drop down. It is not always like drop down. So it will have a combination of all these directions. That means these are all the orientations actually. These are all the orientations. Drop down, up, end, and start. So this is for down. So this is for up, and this is for right, and this is for left. Animation, how it is going to hand. And one more option is we need the collapse to configure correct combinations we have to use. Now, which one should collapse in the drop down? Which one should collapse? You can tell that actually. Which one should collapse? Menu should collapse, na? That means now this menu should have drop down, what collapse. So this should have collapse. We have to use that collapse. This should collapse. Menu should collapse. And very important, actually previous version, now some changes are there as I told you. Now if I define collapse, what should be the ID? ID is like suppose items, that is the ID. On this button click, we have to handle it. Then what we have to do? Database toggle. What should toggle? Drop down. Actually, in the older versions, we need to refer to the ID and collapse it. Now we have some changes. That means here when I click, it will display that option. We don't need to give the target. We don't need to give the target. We don't need to give the target. So we can just display colors and all our wish. We will see that. So here you see this ID is not required. Target is not required. If I just give that collapse, this will work for drop down automatically. It will work for drop down automatically. Suppose this is drop down item and I am defining another item, suppose English, some Hindi. Already I told you how to get a different language. Translator is there. Na? So you can get this menu items and display the menu item. And appearance, that depends on your requirement. Suppose I given as BTN. So BTN, some secondary like this I defined, then it will be like this. And you can click it and the items will display there. So this kind of drop down that you have seen in Netflix, am I right? So Netflix is using that drop down here. That is the drop down it is using here. Drop down it is using here. It have an icon. It's not ordinary drop down. That is the drop down that we designed through the bootstrap, right? Combination. See, they are not using any separate icon for that. Means they are not using separate class for that. Just suppose this is not BTN. Just I am giving BTN. I am not giving any secondary. It looks like this now. We can just give ordinary button style like appearance, ordinary button like appearance, right? So it depends on how you choose. Usually now in that item, you can put anything. In that item, you can put anything. Suppose this is related to some notifications or symbols you want. You can put the symbol here, span. So class, some BI. Suppose I am giving some graph down, graph up, something like this. And you can see the symbols icons will come. For every item, there can be a symbol. Every item, there can be a symbol, which is not possible in our general drop downs. That is the little small combination of drop down, how to design for that. So just syntactically, how we create a simple option. We will have a container, we'll have the class drop down, and we have a div, we have the class. First we have a button above. We'll have a button, and this button usually will have a class called drop down toggle, and say select. This will have a class drop down menu. This menu will collapse. And inside the menu, we usually have drop down item, and we have that drop down item, and close the drop down menu and close the drop down here, right? That is the combination how we can configure. Example, only architectural syntax I am giving. That is not functional syntax. That means order only I am showing there. I am showing only order, how the syntax works. Means parent in the child order. Functionality example I am giving below. Now with combination of all these, now we can design that screen. So let's see how to design that. In tomorrow session, we will design that Netflix screen now. So Netflix front page screen, we will see how to put the knowledge of all these inside it. There are some more components in Bootstrap. So, but what we learned, we will put up to this in one example and see. Tomorrow we will discuss about that. Okay. In tomorrow's session, we'll continue.